Well, hello, my most amazing artists. We are going to create a line artwork today, and we are going to start off using a big black crayon to create our line art. So I'm going to take my big black crayon and I am going to draw lines, and the only thing I'm going to worry about is making sure that my line goes from one side of the page and then touches another. It could go from side to side, it could go diagonally, it could go up and down. That doesn't matter, but it needs to go from one side to the other. So I'm gonna start off with a wavy line, and then I'm gonna do a castle line. And then I'm gonna do a zigzag line. And then I'm gonna do a broken line. My broken line's gonna wave a little bit. And then once you feel like you have enough lines on your paper, you can stop. I feel like I wanna do one straight line right here. There we go. Now I'm ready to stop. You could keep going at this point if you want to, but even though I said the only thing you're worrying about is making your lines go from one side to the other, you also do want to worry about one more thing, which is making sure that you have spaces in between all of your lines. I do not want to see something like this. Are these lines? Yes, technically these are lines, but am I going to be able to paint spaces in between these lines? Not really, because this is just a bunch of scribble scrabble, and I don't want that. So once I have gotten all my lines drawn, then I want to go back over them so they're really bold and dark and thick, because we're going to be painting over these. And once they're painted over, it might be hard to see the lines. So we want to make them really nice and bold and thick first. All right, and so to do that, I'm just going to go back over them, and I'm just going to go back and forth, until my line is nice and dark. All right, and then once I've got that happening on my entire page, something like that, then I am ready to paint. So to paint, let me scooch all this over so you can see what I'm doing with my paint. Scooch, 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 scooch. You're gonna get a paint palette that looks like this. You've got lots and lots of color options. I would suggest not using black because it would cover up our black lines and we wouldn't see them. And I would suggest not using white because you wouldn't really be able to see it very well on the page. But every other color is available to you. You're also going to have a water cup, and you're going to get a paintbrush. These paintbrushes are pretty big and chunky because this is your first time painting in art class, and I want to make sure that we all have it under control before we move on to teeny or tinier brushes. So the first thing you want to do is you want to wake up your paint. And the way that you wake up your paint is you use water. So I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to dip it in the water cup until it's nice and wet. Now the thing I want you to know about this paintbrush is actually a beautiful kitty cat ballerina. That's right, a beautiful kitty cat ballerina, just like Katarina Kitty Cat from Daniel Tiger. So I'm going to take this beautiful kitty cat ballerina and I'm going to stick her in her hot tub to get nice and wet so she can wake up these paints. And then she's going to come over and she's going to put some water on the paint to wake it up. But she's not just going to put water on the paint because she also needs to get some paint on her beautiful kitty cat fur, her bristles. And when you're petting a cat, you would go gently along the fur when you're petting the cat. All right, you wouldn't jam it down into the paintbrush. You wouldn't pet your cat backwards on its fur. You would pet it gently with the fur. So just because this is a beautiful ballerina kitty cat, you're going to pet gently with her bristles until you get some nice color on your brush. And you'll know that you have nice color on your brush because you'll be able to see it. See how I have some pink in my paintbrush? So I'm just going to remind myself while I paint, pet the cat, pet the cat. And then I'm going to start painting, and I'm going to pick a section and I'm going to paint that whole section. And remember, she's a ballerina, so she's going to dance on her twinkle toes. She's not going to scoot her butt along. She's going to dance on her twinkle toes because she is a beautiful, refined, dignified ballerina who dances on her twinkle toes. All right, and then once your whole section is filled with paint, then you can move on to another section. Now, if I want to keep using that same color in another section, I'll just go dip my kitty cat in the water to get a little bit more, and I'll come back and I'll pet the cat, pet the cat, pet the cat until I get some more paint on my paintbrush. I actually could probably have gotten some better paint on my paintbrush right there. Let's see. And then I'm gonna paint this section right here. Oh yeah, see, I got a lot better paint on my paintbrush that time. The more you pet the cat on the paint palette, the better your paint on your artwork will be. And I see that there's a little bit of a shine on there, so you can't see how good that looks. All right, so maybe I'll do one more section with this color. All right, so if you want to use the same color for multiple sections, that's okay. I would just make sure that maybe they don't touch by more than a little corner. Now I'm ready to change colors. So my beautiful ballerina is very tired and she needs to take a nice soak in the hot tub. Now, same with the paintbrush, you don't want to jam. Same with the paints, you don't want to jam our kitty cat in there because she is a beautiful ballerina who just worked very hard for you. She wants to just soak in the tub. She wants to pet her paintbrushes bristles along the bottom. Am I going to tap my paintbrush on the side to get the water off? No, because look what happens. Water gets everywhere, and that's sad. She's just going to slide on out of that hot tub, and that's going to squeegee off enough water, and then we're going to go to a new color. And you're going to pet the cat on that new color until it's nice and awake and it's ready to paint. You might need to get just a little bit more water from the hot tub. And you'll know that you've got enough water and you've got enough paint on your paintbrush because it will be awake enough to put color on the end of your paintbrush. See how it's kind of green now? And then I'm going to dance my ballerina on her twinkle toes to fill in that space. And I could probably have more color on that paintbrush. So I'm going to get more color on my paintbrush. Ah, yes, now that looks good. So there it is. And I'm going to finish filling in the rest of this. You guys don't need to watch me. But remember, every time you want to change colors, you just stick your exhausted ballerina kitty cat in the hot tub, otherwise known as the water cup. You can tap her bristles on the bottom very gently, but notice no water is coming out. You can slide her out of the hot tub when you are done getting her nice and cleaned off, and then you can move on to a new color. And you're just going to pet the cat on that new color until you've got some good color on our ballerina kitty cat's bristles. And then you're going to dance her on her twinkle toes, and you're going to fill in a section. Am I going from one section to another section? No. I'm just staying right in that one section. Can I repeat the same color in another section? Of course you can. You're just not dragging your paintbrush across your page. You're filling in each section as nicely as you can with your ballerina kitty cat dancing on her twinkle toes. You're trying your very best not to mix colors. If a few colors get mixed together, is it a big deal? No, that happens sometimes when you're painting right next to another area that's painted. Sometimes they mix, it's okay. But if you're making sure that your paintbrush isn't too wet, and you're making sure that you pet the cat and you get enough paint on your paintbrush, it shouldn't be a problem. So I'm gonna let you guys get to work, and I am gonna finish my painting. Look to your teacher for more instructions.